This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wildcard Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and today we are heading all the way back to Legacy for a pretty spicy new take on the Burn archetype. This is Creeping Intuition Bird, and it's kind of like a normal Burn deck, kind of a Is It Delver style Burn deck, except it's got a really spicy new Guilds of Ravnica twist to it. So this comes to us from Ride the Bus, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a competitive Legacy League on Magic Online. So congrats to Ride the Bus on a really sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Creeping Intuition Bird for Legacy. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So before I break down the deck, gotta say, yes, I know, $2,765 in the paper world. It looks like a ton of money for this deck, and technically it is. However, it's really cheap on Magic Online. 170 ticks, that's like standard deck, cheaper than some standard decks on Magic Online. And in paper, 2,000 of those dollars is the 4 copies of Volcanic Island, and another like 160 is the other dual land. So if you just trade out the Volcanic Islands and the Badlands for whatever random shock lands you have in your collection, all of a sudden this is like a $600 deck or something, $500 deck, and you're not losing that many percentage points. So keep that in mind. While the price tag is ridiculous, that's really because of a single card, essentially, the Volcanic Islands, and you don't need those to actually play the deck. While they're ideal, they aren't required. So anyway, let's talk Creeping Intuition Burn, and we start off looking like a pretty normal Delver style burn deck. In the 1-drop slot, Delver Secrets, we got a million spells in this deck, plus Brainstorm to set things up, so it's going to flip pretty consistently, hopefully on turn number 2, and then we just have a 3-2 flyer to get in a bunch of damage in the air, and then Monastery Swiftspear works really well with decks with a ton of burn spells because you trigger prowess consistently, so even though it's a 1-2, it's often attacking for 2 or 3 damage thanks to all the spells we can cast. So these 1-drops just give us sources of repeatable damage. If we can get in 6 damage with Delver Secrets, 4 damage with Monastery Swiftspear, they've basically done their jobs as burn spells, being more powerful than any actual burn spell you would play in that slot. And then we have Eidolon of the Great Revels, which, if it sits on the battlefield, is a really good repeatable source of damage. Anytime someone plays something, I mean, there's exceptions. There are some 4-mana spells, 6-mana spells that show up in Legacy, but most of the spells are really cheap. So in general, anytime someone's casting a spell, they're going to be taking damage, and since we have a deck overloaded with burn spells and overloaded with Delvers and Swiftspears to deal fast damage, we kind of naturally break the symmetry. Plus, Eidolon of Great Revels is really important for us to be able to beat combo decks. Against a deck like Storm, they're going to be able to race us most of the time, but if we can just slam an Eidolon on turn 2, our opponent's going to have to remove that before they cast a bunch of spells and storm off and try to combo. So really helpful is hate there as well. As far as our bird spells, we start with the typical stuff. We essentially have 12 lightning bolts, 4 real bolts, 4 chain lightning, 4 lava spike, which is kind of a pseudo bolt since it can't actually hit creatures, but a ton of spells that deal 3 damage for a single mana, and then we back those up by 2 of the most powerful burn spells in the entire history of the game of Magic. Fire Blast, most of the time, well, pretty much all the time, I don't think we ever get to 6 mana in this deck, but almost all the time, we're going to be sacrificing 2 mountains to pay its alternate casting cost, so it's basically 4 damage for free if we sack those mountains, and we can do really powerful things like play a lightning bolt, then sack those tap mountains, which is like 10 damage for just 2 mana, which is absolutely absurd way to close out the game quickly, and then Price of Progress does 2 damage to each player for each non-basic they control, which in a lot of matchups is going to mean our opponent's taking 6 damage for 2 mana or something, which makes it a very efficient burn spell in finishing burn spell for the deck. So this is all pretty typical stuff. Where the deck goes off the rails, though, is is Intuition. So Intuition is normally a card that sets up combos, lets you search your library for any 3 cards. So any 3 cards you want, one of those cards goes in your hand, the other 2 goes into your graveyard, and then your library gets shuffled. So why would a burn deck play Intuition? I mean, getting Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, that's not very efficient. The idea here is absolutely hilarious, but what we're using it for is to tutor up 3 copies of Creeping Chill. So if we cast Intuition and tutor up 3 copies of Creeping Chill, we're going to get one of those in our hand. The other 2 are going to go from our library into the graveyard, and then we get to exile them and drain our opponent for 3 with each. So Intuition, with the Creeping Chills in our deck, suddenly becomes a 6 damage, we gain 6 life burn spell at instant speed for 3 mana, which is actually a very powerful burn spell even in the legacy format. So that's the plan. Of course, we can tutor up other things if we really need to, but that's the combo of the deck, and that's what makes this deck so unique, is we're playing Intuition with Creeping Chills as this ridiculous instant speed burn spell in blue and black of all colors. So a really unique combo brought to us from Guilds of Ravnica. Otherwise, Brainstorm sets up our Delvers, lets us put Creeping Chills back in our deck so we can Intuition them. Mana base, we talked about it a bit in the intro, some fetch lands, some original dual lands, which again are like 75%. Those 5 cards are like 75% of the cost of the deck. So if you want to try out this deck, just play your shock lands, play your steam vents, play your blood crypt. You're going to be just fine. And then a bunch of basic mountains as well. As far as the sideboard, we get a bunch of burn spells that are good for specific matchups. Pyrostatic Pillar, basically enchantment version of Eidolon of the Great Revels to bring in against combo. Searing Blaze, a really good burn spell against creature decks because we're killing a creature and getting 3 damage. Exquisite Firecraft is our burn spell for control and counter heavy matchups since it's uncounterable. And then Smash to Smithereens, our burn spell that's also artifact hate. Otherwise, we have some graveyard hate. 3 Grafdigger's Cage, 3 fairies as ways to deal with graveyard against decks like Dredge. And that is Creeping Intuition Burn for Legacy. And that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.